From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm Ken Napzok.
And I'm Jennifer Landa, and my neighbor's barking dog.
I was going to say, what happened to Mala's voice? Your dog has a deep, throaty bark. And I hear
Right.
a little yipping, an excited voice.
Oh, yeah.
The Pomeranian is also here to talk on this episode of Subjective Wars. This is our fast, hopefully fun, and hopefully fast show where we pit two things against one another. Sometimes we like both of them a lot and then force ourselves to decide. We love talking Star Wars. We love talking general pop culture and sometimes the way that we absorb pop culture, which is what we're going to be talking about today. This is a titanic battle between digital and physical media. This could mean lots of things. We could be talking about streaming versus owning a DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. Are you going super analog? Are you like only typewriters and VHSs in my house? Of course, this applies a lot to music with all the streaming services out there versus the popularity of vinyl records, all sorts of stuff. So, Ken, I want to start with you. You are a music person. You are a disc jockey in the past. That not an SJ, not a stream jockey, a disc jockey, physically spinning an actual disc. Yeah. Where do you start with this?
Man, this is the conflict is running deep within me. Because you go to music first. I am on almost every streaming music service, and I love them, and I think they're amazing, and I actually discover new music. But also, as someone who has music on these streaming services, I can definitely tell you all, and also stand up. You have albums on this on these services too, Joseph, as do I. Yeah, it's not good for the business. It's not good for society. They're not paying. I could tell you about 1,000 spins on Spotify gets you about 3 cents, maybe 2.35 cents. Yeah, so I'm very conflicted, but I have to, I also have, storage shed with 2 giant totes of CDs I'll never have need for again, but I cannot get rid of because not everything's on there. If I want to listen to the band Marry Me Jane, who was on the If Lucy Fell soundtrack, they're the soundtrack of that 1996 rom-com. That's the only place I can listen to it. You can't find that album anywhere. Surfing Brides out of England, great band. Trade of Shame, Everything's Fine is their big radio hit from the 97. No one remembers that band, but I do because I have the CD. They're not anywhere else. So
they're not available on streaming. It's like there's certain movies and TV shows you can't find. There are bands that you have the CD for and you cannot stream them. They don't exist.
They don't exist. You can find some stuff on YouTube. Surfing Brides. I'm telling you, everybody, one of the underrated bands of the 90s. So you asked me, sorry, I'm going to go for 30 minutes here. Stop me. You asked me where I start. I want to be forward thinking. I'm in it. I love new tech. I love figuring it out. I love some of the convenience. I love, again, some of the nasty algorithms that we do have a justifiable complaint about have led me to new bands and things that I did not know. I cannot deny that. Artists who have only 35 listeners a month, but I discovered them and I love them now. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say, I'm just going to start here right now and say digital.
Okay, you got a little bit of a digital bias. I guess take that, Surfing Brides. That's not enough for Ken yet. Jennifer, enough. Where do you start?
I'm really conflicted on this one because I know I see so many problems with where we're headed with digital media, with streaming, especially with my children. Oh my gosh, if you're a parent out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's so many advantages and major disadvantages that are actually affecting their mental health, the young people. So I don't know, actually, no, but I know my life is greatly improved because of digital media, because we are able to do what we are doing right now, because I've been able to connect with Star Wars fans all over the world, where I used to sit in my room watching Return of the Jedi on a VHS tape, feeling so alone, right? So I can't deny the power of the digital. So I think that's where my heart goes.
This is all making a lot of sense. I do want to follow up, and then I'll do my overall reaction. Disadvantages, like the advantages are very clear to me. Of like the world at your fingertips. People have been joking about the main Apple keeps wanting to advertise iPad as doing all of these different things, and then there's jokes on social media like, it's to keep children quiet. That's what iPads are for, to entertain children, give them something to watch, all that stuff. Having it at the fingertips makes sense. What are the disadvantages of music and movies and TV shows being on streaming for kids?
It's overwhelming for children. They don't know what to pick. They're like, there's nothing to watch, which I'm like, do you understand? You have Netflix, we have Disney Plus, we have Hulu. We have so much. They have so many choices. It almost paralyzes them. My husband and I have been trying to say, no, you don't understand. Like there was a cartoon block where we could watch cartoons, but then we were exposed to the news and other things. We watched shows that were obviously not for kids, but we were exposed to that, right? And there's something good about that. Also, not being able to fast forward, rewind as instantly, right? Or being like, I don't like this, I'm going to skip to something else. If if the Brady Bunch was on, you're going to watch the whole episode. You can't be going back and forth. It's like, well, this is it, right? So there's a lot attention spans. It's also been affected by the shortness of the digital media, the power of storytelling. These videos that kids watch, there's no beginning, middle, and end. Whereas we were actually forced to watch like stories. That helps us become better storytellers and writers. And we learn things about our culture and our people. Anyways, that's why I'm wait a minute. No, I'm digital. So wait, hold on. I'm arguing against myself.
But yeah, this is the thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated. And I love what you're saying. I mean, I think back to Sesame Street, and I don't know what happened to me that I became obsessed with like genre and weirdness instantly. But I remember watching Sesame Street and like, bring back the Count. Where are the Muppets? Why is some human and some child talking to me about apples? I don't want to see a human. Bring back the vampire Muppet. And if I had the option to like fast forward through it, I would not have been exposed to a lot of things I was exposed to on, say, like Sesame Street, that was geared to help me learn. Anyway, yes, I think for my big picture, I want to be very aware of, I don't want these things to be about there shouldn't be new technology or denying new technology. And I think I'm kind of obsessed with how is new technology get used? How does it get regulated? Because a lot of it is about kind of how you use it. And I think for me, specifically with like art and entertainment existing in digital formats, I gravitate toward the physical media, not because of any of the technical factors of like, yeah, some music is more compressed, and I get that, and I hear that sometimes, and all that. It's the way the digital is being administered. I think I'm not just everything should be the way it was when I was a kid. But the power of buying an album, holding the album, having a full relationship with it, reading the liner notes, looking at the picture that Taylor Swift chose to put on the sleeve because that affects how you look at it. There's all that tactile stuff, but then there is just the way the digital is being administered. I have a Sammy Davis Jr. and Carmen McRae album that I bought on iTunes in 2006. It's really hard to find on vinyl and really expensive. And I went to listen to it the other day, and iTunes was just like, you don't own that anymore. And it's not so much the technology, and is the technology good or bad, but that it's funny. Our previous episode, we were talking about Boba Fett, and now I have Boba Fett on my mind because I think one of the great things about Book of Boba Fett was about him going, hey, wait, I've prided myself on being this badass who's in charge of his life, but all I've ever been doing is having my chain jerked by Darth Vader and Jabba the Hutt. And I think that it's the way digital works right now. Our chains are too easily jerked by corporate Darth Vaders and corporate Jabba the Hutts.
This could almost be a debate about physical media versus corporate capitalism.
Yes.
and also I want to be careful to not push it into digital. This discussion being social media and all those kind of things, but there's enough reports out there of my buddy Ken Plume our buddy Ken Plume, what am I saying? Was telling me about an interview they just had on the Daily Show with Jordan Klepper and this author. The facts, the stats are there from 2012 on. The depression rates in kids and everything are up, and a lot of that is to connect to the phone. And you're right. And I think it's okay to question that without sounding like you're screaming at clouds because you just love clouds, like you don't want the cloud. I think you're right, Joseph, and we're feeling the industry. There is a actual problem being discussed in the industry of not finding the right amount of young writers who are able to tell a 20 episode story over a season. They're used to 6 episodes. Episodes don't have endings. This that, and there's industry execs going, what do we do here? This has changed, and not in the best ways. So there's a bigger conversation. But I love what you're talking about going to physical media. We're not cranky old folks screaming at the clouds, folks. When we say there's some power, it's spiritual. I used to go with my friend Jay about once a month to like Amoeba Records and other records. We do a tour, and to find a piece of music that you hold in your hand, an album, and you hold it and you read the liner notes and you look at the pictures and you do everything, and there's an art form to it and you feel connected to it. There's some great bands that I love that I don't even know what albums they have. I just know the music I like because I don't have a relationship with it as much anymore. Noel Gallagher tells a great story in the doc about album covers, about saying he had to go shoot a cover art for his new music, and his daughter was like, "What's that?" And she's not 7; she's like in her 20s, and he had explained, the little tiny picture on your iPhone, that used to be a multi-million-dollar project because it meant something. Thing,
the incredibly important and an art,
Yeah, and that's what I think you're talking about, and I side with you on that a lot. Of just like, it's not just it is, man. I do feel we've lost that connection to the art.
Yeah. Jennifer, how do you feel about the kind of the tactile, the owning, the experiencing it physically?
I think what we're all talking about is the craftsmanship that went into producing everything, whether it's a film or an album. And it's like all the different talented crafters that would create this art for us to consume. I mean, even back to, editing Star Wars, Marshall Lucas, Paul Hirsch, Richard Chu, they're editing it by hand. Like it's so labor intensive. And like, I just think about what an art it was. On the flip side, it's also digital has democratized these spaces where people would have to go to film school and have money to be able to get cameras and sound equipment. Now we can do this on our phones, right? We can record podcasts. Like my dad, who worked in news broadcast, he didn't have to go to a studio and he'd have all this fancy equipment and he'd have all these people. It's like, wow, I can just plug it into my computer and we can talk and this can be broadcast to people. That's incredible and it's powerful. So that's why I'm torn, is that it's opened it up to a lot of people who would never get that opportunity. Of course, it's also opened it up to a lot of people that are not that I don't want to say are trash. That's not fair, but they're just like doing things for clicks. They're ripping off other people's ideas and other
trash
people's
is fine.
Jokes.
Trash is fine. Trash is
no. I had another TikTok pop up of like, somebody with like 17 million likes for just repeating one of my tweets verbatim. Like, I mean, it's there's some not great things, but I agree with you. I think like the digital revolution, the power of it is accessibility and connection, like across the board, from the ideal of the information superhighway. Like my dad's, had a real change in his life where he can do a lot of things. He's got a 1950 Chevrolet truck, and he's on YouTube going like, how do you take the gas tank out of my 1950 Chevrolet truck? And there's an answer. And before that, he would have had like, I know one guy up north I can call who might know the answer, and now he can connect with all those people. Accessibility, no doubt, is the power of the digital market. But when the digital topic, becomes the physical object, not the conversation or the ability to create, but the actual album or movie, I feel like that's what I'm railing against, is the accessibility is ending. What makes digital beautiful is not always translating to the way we consume art, because the corporations are, saying you bought it, you own it. No, you don't anymore. They are just deciding like, it's too expensive for this movie, or not enough people care about this movie, so it's gone. It's not actually accessible anymore. So I think the accessibility on the product side is what I am most consternated by. When it works, it works great. When you have access to a band you love, and you can just go, yep, I'm going to port it over to my car with the click of a button, blah, blah, blah. When it works, it's great. But there's so many ways that I think they're choking accessibility. Ken, how do you feel about the accessibility dance?
No, I agree with you. I'm someone who, and I'm definitely not alone in this, who has a stack of Blu-rays and DVDs over here, but the act of getting up, opening one up, putting it in the player, loses to, let me just put in my Amazon PIN code and get it for $2 right here. I don't have to leave the couch. The amount of times I've done that is stupid, but I do it, and I do it. So there's that part of it. But then there's been times, I just did this for Quantum of Solace. Here's an example. I clearly own the Daniel Craig Bonds on digital video disc and Blu-ray, but you and I were doing the review for our Patreon page, so I was like, well, I'm just going to order it on Amazon, $3.99, whatever it was. And it was digital. It was pixelated. It was the streaming quality was bad. And I'm like, look, that's the price of a 7-Eleven coffee and chimichanga, but that's my money that just went away for this. And sometimes you'll get an email, we noticed you had da-da-da. I'm like, well, first of all, how'd you notice? Two, like, quit watching me. But so there again, I fall for it, and I'm going to fall for it again, right? I'm staring at I have Solo. I have Star Wars. I'm going to go watch Disney Plus on my phone while I work out. And I love that. Like you said, when it works, it works. But it just does remind me of the control they have and the quality of it, and yeah, the compressed stuff. That happens a lot. My music shows run off of Spotify, and I know a lot of people don't want to work with Spotify, boycott Spotify. Got it. It's the thing that works for my radio station, because if you request a song, I have more access to music on that than I do even on Apple Music. But the quality of Apple Music is way better. You can hear it. It blasts you in the face, the just quality. But even that's probably not the good quality of a LP and a cup of coffee or a tea or a gin martini at the sunset, listening to Sammy Davis Jr. Like, your soul, when you do that, it's enriching. That's enriching.
Yeah, there's not the dynamic range because everything is compressed to be maximum volume. I got a great lecture from a grumpy producer when I made my comedy album that I sat and mastered with him, because it was a comedy album and then a music album. And and this is 10 years ago. Anyway, no, I'm with you too, because like I am trying to collect more physical media because I want to own things, and I want to have that relationship with the physical object. But there's also money and space. So I've been slowly rewatching the Coen Brothers films, and I walked to Amoeba, which I'm lucky and dangerous to be able to walk to Amoeba. And I had like a $20 Blu-ray of Oh Brother Where Art Thou in my hand. I was like, I really should try to save my money. So just let me look it up online. Is it available? Oh, Apple or Hulu and Disney Plus have combined. It's on. You know what? I'm going to be good. And I'm going to put this disc down, and I'm going to walk home, and I'm going to watch it for free on a streaming service I already pay for. It was full screened. It was not the actual widescreen version. And there's no button to hit. And it's like, what? This was a joke in like 1998 of the full screen DVD versus the widescreen, and your out of touch parents going, I don't want to see them black bars at the bottom and top. So So like the dream of it all being accessible is got some real quality issues.
I agree.
Yeah. I want to ask you both about, Jennifer, you brought up a great thing about kids, but I think it's true for all of us, of the sort of analysis paralysis of having so much available at our fingertips. And I think that streamers seem to be more aware of this. I was looking at something on Amazon Prime, and one of the things that they advertised to me were channels on, I believe, Freevee.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they know what I like. And like, so it wasn't just watch this. It was, here's our classic Doctor Who channel, which is what running at all times. And Brain of Morbius happens to be playing right now. And we have an 80s music video channel, and this is playing right now. We have a detective procedural, and this episode of the Rockford Files is playing. So it's offering channels. How do you feel about this sort of analysis paralysis of having too many choices?
I think what will happen is, and this is what I was going to say, is that we've lost the ritual aspect of consuming media and being able to just like escape right? And having that be kind of our sacred time, whether it's going to the movies, which is why people flock to go see The Phantom Menace, even though we can see it at home, or me, Return of the Jedi, because I wanted it to be a communal aspect, a ritual. Same thing with like you're talking about going to Amoeba, going to the record store, things like that. So what happens is at home, because I am connected to my emails and texts, I'm watching something, and once I finally pick it, I find myself sometimes looking on Instagram, or, oh, my mom is texting me, or, oh, my sister is texting me. Oh, that's right. I have this parent thing I need to do. I'm not really focused on what I'm watching. Or if I get really distracted, I'll just like, let's watch something else. Let's just, you know what I mean? It's like there's not that focus of actually being able to enjoy it and consume it. I'm so distracted. It's me, my husband, and my kids. So
yeah, no, I love the word ritual. I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think that's, goes for a lot of the way that we absorb media is, it's a ritual to buy it. It's a ritual to, look at the packaging as you put it in, all that. And Ken, how do you feel about the analysis paralysis of too many options?
It's definitely a real thing, and it's a hacky stand-up joke. But me and my wife were sitting around, and we couldn't figure out a movie for 10 minutes. I don't want to do in Dangerfield, but like it is. What do you want to watch? 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 It's a real thing. There is during the football season, and this is it's a digital media thing to prove maybe a physical media point. But during the football season, I got back into football in a big way, and in a way I hadn't been in years, and so I did pay for the NFL ticket package. Another reason why I'm probably going to be homeless soon. But that comes with like live TV, YouTube TV, right? I re-upped that. I cannot tell you how comforting it was on a Sunday morning. Either the football game was on, and then after the season ended for a couple weeks, I would just be, doing some work, doing my Sunday admin work, and War of the Worlds is playing on TBS. Spielberg's War of the Worlds, and it's just there, and you could flip. And it's like when I go to hotels when I'm traveling around. You've been doing a lot of traveling recently too, Joseph. It's like I love turning on the hotel TV and like, is it the first 48 or diners, dive-ins, and drive-ins? What am I watching? Because it's there. And there's just something comforting about that. And again, this is all digital media to prove like a little bit of the TV wasn't physical even back then, but it's just a little bit of that, the ritual, the comfort. What is on versus, I have 30,000 things to choose from and I can't choose one.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're, like always, I go maybe deeper than necessary. But I mean, I think there is something human about there are things in life we can control and things in life we can't control. That is just a great truth of reality. And I think we all have different levels of relationships to how okay we are with that truth. And the fact that people of our generation and older kind of romanticize it. Like, remember when you came home from school and you just had to watch whatever crap was on? Wasn't that great? I wonder if there's something truly deep about it is nice to be absolved of choice sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. Right? Yes.
Yeah, we want agency, but also it is nice sometimes to just say, I don't have a choice in this, and there's almost a comfort in that when you want to turn your brain off and just watch and be forced to watch the Brady Bunch.
Or like, judge whatever was on the People's Court, when you're homesick, watching TV or, whatever it was. There is something to be said. I remember being a kid and I'd find something or I'd watch something or I'd hear a piece of music and I could not find it. I didn't know what the song title was, or I didn't know what that show was. And there was no way for me to look it up. And it used to drive me crazy, not knowing the answer. Now, it's kind of gotten out of control. It's like, I want to know everything. And I watched this great mob documentary in a hotel room in Anaheim recently. I was like, this is the best documentary ever. I can find that at home and I can stream it. And it just made me so happy to know that I could find it. It like feels complete. So that's a win for digital for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I think that there is a heightening of desire when things aren't accessible. Yeah. But I also think that so like for me with like all of my love of the sort of Rat Pack era, like there used to be like, I'm never going to hear that Dean Martin album unless I find it in my hunting of vinyl records. And now it's on disc or it's on streaming, or I can just go to Discogs and I can buy the album from wherever. In there, it does. It's like just never. You don't have a chance to get hungry, and
That's true.
a meal is often better when you're just really hungry. But also, I don't like. I also want to be aware of that sort of like. I don't want to have the value of things being deprived of them. I don't have an entire resolution for myself. Like, I'm aware that the hunger has sometimes made me have a stronger relationship with things, but also I don't want to get into like everybody should be deprived. Everybody should go 8 hours without drinking water so they feel even better. But like, it's a slippery slope there. I want to go back to this ritual thing because Ken, about this. So there's a lot of romantic, fond memories of going to the video store, either by yourself or, with your romantic partner, with your family, and going down the aisles and picking out a Friday night movie or two. We can do that at home. Like, obviously some things are missing or full screen, but like Amazon Prime has most things to rent for $4. It just is Blockbuster online. Nobody's romantic about it. Everybody's doing hack stand-up jokes about how much it sucks. Why do you think we're romantic about physically going to a video store and we're not romantic about sitting on the couch and having that same experience on Amazon Prime?
We might be in 30 years when we're like, remember before the eyeballs would just play the movies? And we used to go to our couch all the time. I mean, look, for us, it's hard to maybe separate it from the nostalgia of just our youth and simpler times too. And I totally know you get that too. But I think it's that. What is that Vonnegut story? It's an internet story, so it could very well be Abraham Lincoln or Mark Twain or Einstein that did it. But it's Vonnegut needed towards the end of his life, needed to go get a stamp, right? Am I thinking of the right story?
Yeah.
I need to go to stamp. And the granddaughter or daughter said, you can just get a stamp online. And he was like, no, pitter-pattering around is our destiny. Going to the store turns to talking to the clerk, turns to this, turns to that. That is someone that I identify with. That is a thing I identify with. And what you're talking about is maybe some of what I miss too. I even miss, like, I love grocery shopping. And I'm glad I love the guys. I'm still friends with them, but I miss the days when my old roommates and I used to get up at 6 p.m. You need a store, and I need a store, and we'd all go to Ralph's in Porter Ranch and go do our shopping. But it was this thing, and it was friendship, and it was connection. There's something about that. Mark Ellis tells a story where he's like, if I go 2 days not having a conversation with a barista at a Starbucks or a Coffee Bean or something, I get a little batty. I need to go talk to people. I need to have some affability going on between them and me, and pointless, mindless. How's the weather? How you doing? Yay. But it's something about our condition. And I think physical media, going to Blockbuster, for me, movies to go in my hometown, is all that. It is the connection. Yes, there's some nostalgia fog. Yes, there's a simpler time. I didn't have bills to pay, all this stuff. Totally get that. But I think that's somewhat what was lost in what we're talking about here. When we're comparing, it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. It might just be nostalgia. And however we absorb media in 30 years, people might be like, remember when you just went on Amazon Prime and you just paid $4.79? Jennifer.
Now you blink twice.
No.
Now they just play whatever they want in your eyeballs. Do you have romance about going to the video store? And was that a different ritual for you to physically go to the video store than to pick something on streaming?
It's a necessity for me even now. And I think, humans are by our nature, we are meant to be social creatures. However, me by nature, I am an introvert. I love the self-checkout line. I love not having to leave my house. And I saw that, and it became really bad with the pandemic. And I need now the ritual to force me to get out there and force me to talk to people. And it feels good. And I feel accomplished at the end of the day. It's good to like literally get up and move and walk around, right? It's like instead of sitting at the computer all day. So it is there's romantic, but it's also kind of a necessity for me personally, where it's like, I got to get out and talk to some people because I'm getting weird.
I'm with you too, and I think there's the Vonnegut Mark Ellis connection of. I'm sorry, Ken. Go ahead.
No, I'm just picturing Jen's like, I'm weird, and I got the lights out.
I got my collectibles. I got everything I need.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you because I think when I'm in an extrovert mode, that's one thing. but sometimes I'm in an introvert mode, and I'll be here, and it'll just be like, but I want to think about my things and the work I need to do, and I'm curated voices, and I have curated things I'm listening to, and I'm in my little world, my little bubble, and it helps so much to just step outside. I don't even need to talk to a person. I just need to see them and hear them talking to another person, and like, I can go to Amoeba, and they can have like absolutely no comment on the Obi-Wan Kenobi Blu-ray I bought, and just say, do you need your receipt? Yep. Like, I'm not talking about substantive interaction. It's just the reminder that your world isn't the only world, because it starts to close in on you. And if you just step out, sometimes I just step outside and I go, oh, that thing isn't that big of a problem. The rest of the world is going on. They're not thinking about me, and that's good.
Yes.
Yeah. This is spilling out into much larger issue, but I have a friend, an LA-based friend. I'm always like, hey, we're at the comedy store. Come get a drink, and he never shows up. And then he actually a couple days ago was like, man, don't you really miss the lockdown and pandemic? And I'm like, I stood for it as an idea to help us get through this, but no, I don't. No, I liked going out. I liked talking. I like having a conversation with a clerk that was meaningless. And I like getting a record back in the day. I know we've moved this so bad. The goalposts on this episode have moved. But I think it's touching something inside ourselves. That album at Amoeba represents a lot of this.
It does. Yeah. So let's head towards our wrap up. We've talked a lot about digital versus physical. I think we all see benefits in both, but our weird little game with Subjective Wars is that we choose. You must choose, Anakin, digital or physical media. So, Ken, how do you answer Palpatine's call to choose?
Yeah, I got hold on any longer. Look, I'll tell you what. Maybe should I just delete my Spotify account now? Should I stand up? No, I can't.
Sorry.
I can't. I run an entire music show on it. I can't. But I'll take a stand. I'll take a last stand. I don't want to buy another CD in my life. I can't store it anywhere. I don't want to buy another record. Well, maybe I take that back. I might buy an LP or two. I don't want to buy another Blu-ray in my life. But why we still have it, and why we still have the ritual around it, and why we still have the better sound quality with it, I'm switching sides. A last stand for physical media.
Jennifer, how do you answer the call, the choice?
I am joining Ken on the light side, and I am taking a stand for physical media because I miss holding the art. I miss the ritual of going and picking up a vinyl or a cassette tape or a laser disc. Oh, the laser disc. I really miss that, and I see the harm that it's having on kids. So I'm taking a stand. Disney Vault, bring it back. Take away some of the Disney movies. My kids don't need it all.
Make them hunger for Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like Aragorn at the Black Gate. I see the fear in your eyes that one day Lilo and Stitch 7 will not be available on VHS. But we do this for physical media.
It is, and I fully admit the irony of then also what I'm mad about the digital is that they take things away. Like, don't take things away. And yet I kind of like it when things are a little limited and I can hunger. But anyway. For me, to me, I have looked into my soul, and this is not should be the way things that were when I was a kid. I like digital, and I want digital to continue in terms of music and television shows and films and that availability. And I love that that some of the streaming services have a watch along, and I love that there's community and all that. But right now, with the chokehold that the large corporations have about the way they administer digital products, the way that they can take them away, the way that they can take artist royalties away with Spotify, because somehow the CEO needs that 3 cents more than you do, Ken. I think when I analyze, am I just being a grump? Am I just holding on to technology should be the way it was? It's always about connection. Is the way we're using technology now helping or hindering connection? And I think when it comes to art, digital is hindering connection a little bit right now, and physical media encourages connection, to physically go get it, to literally have a connection with the physical object, with the artist. I have one Taylor Swift album on iTunes that I've listened to a couple times, and I just decided my dad got me a gift certificate at Target. I'm buying that Midnight's album. It's got cool, Mace Windu purple vinyl.
Yeah,
I've listened to that thing so much, and I pick it up and I look at the pictures and I put it on, and it is a ritual. It's connection. I'm much more connected to that media. So I'm voting for physical media as well. I think we should change the phrase from touch grass to buy vinyl. Get out of your house and buy vinyl.
I agree.
All right. There you go. Ken, do you want to take us home? Let people know where they can find us?
Here's where you can scream at us online, because we might have upset many different generations here today, but it was a good conversation. You can find us online at ForceCenter Pod. We are also on Facebook at ForceCenter Podcast. YouTube, subscribe here if you're watching, or head over there and subscribe. We got more cool things coming there, as well as our video versions of our show. But as a podcast, we're available in a lot of spots digitally. We have careers because of it. We get it. You don't need to point that out. We get that. Podcasts are found everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and more. And you can support us directly at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Get merch at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. Follow me at Ken Napzok. Go to my website, kennapzok.com. Hit that shop tab. I got some cool things available there. Now, Jen, where can they find you?
You can find me, digitally, exactly, on all the social media sites at Jennifer Landa, or TikTok at Jennifer Landa 1138.
There you go, Joseph. I'm looking forward to a midnight picture with a gin martini or whatever you're going to do. I really love your rituals and how you share them with us all. Where can they find you?
Yeah, it will be happening. You can find me on all the social media at Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out my digital website, josephscrimshaw.com, for all the digital things we're doing. That said, this is making me think we should see how incredibly expensive, how much money we would lose if we put out 2 episodes of Day Bank Brawl on a vinyl record. We would lose so much money. Much money. Yes.
The answer is everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So digital does have a lot going for us, and I'm grateful with this version of digital that it is connection. We've been able to connect with so many great Star Wars and pop culture fans over the years. So thank you. We'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. For now, we have fought the subjective wars.